as you can see from the title, today we are going to dive into the pros and cons of using a pre-order launch strategy to launch your clothing brand. My name is Taddy G, and on this channel I like to share what it's truly like to run a clothing brand, as well as dropping tips, tricks, gems, and all of that good stuff. So what are pre-orders? What does that even mean, especially when it comes to running a clothing brand? Well, having a pre-order launch strategy or a pre-order campaign means that you are allowing your customers to make purchases of the garments before they even come out. It is a way for brands to gauge interest in their product and to also secure those all-important sales ahead of the launch. In the fashion industry, pre-orders are actually quite common, especially when it comes to those like exclusive brands or those like highly anticipated collections. I have only ever used a pre-order launch strategy for one product on my clothing brand business, and that was a t-shirt. And yes, it definitely does generate a little bit of buzz around that particular garment. So let's talk about some of the pros of using a pre-order launch strategy for your clothing brand. Well, I mentioned this before, it does create buzz and anticipation for that product that you are releasing to your customers. I remember the one and only product I've ever pre-ordered, and that was The Sims 4, and I think it was The Sims 3 actually, and I was so excited for this product to come out. I wanted to be the first person to have my hands on it, which is why I put in that pre-order. I also did not want to miss out on the drop of that product, which is why I pre-ordered it, and I was super excited, counting down the days. So it's definitely something that works in terms of creating anticipation and excitement around that particular garment or product. Now, the second pro, which is really important, guys, and that is the fact that it gives you customer insights. By allowing your customers to pre-order, it sort of gives you an idea of what exactly they want. So think sizing. I know that's definitely something that a lot of people message me about. They're like, how do you decide what sizes to have and how many of each size to have? Having pre-orders will definitely help you be able to decide which sizes are going to sell the most, for example. So like, say if you're launching t-shirts and you have a pre-order campaign and a lot of people are just ordering mediums and larges, you will know as a brand that most people are going to be ordering mediums and larges. So when you're now placing your order, you know exactly what sizes to order for your clothing brand. Having a pre-order launch strategy reduces inventory risk. What I mean by that is that you can actually use a strategy where you're only placing an order for the items that have been ordered through your pre-order launch strategy, which means that once you receive those garments, they are already bought and you're not going to run the risk of having a whole bunch of stock that you cannot sell. And the final pro, which is probably one of the biggest pros when it comes to the pre-order launch strategy, and that is a boost in your cash flow. So when you do launch a pre-order launch strategy, customers are actually paying for those garments in advance, which means that if you are a brand that doesn't actually have any capital to launch your clothing brand with, you can use that cash flow boost, that money that your customers have paid, to actually then go ahead and purchase the garments for your clothing brand. Of course, it means that the customers will have a little bit of a longer waiting time, which we're going to touch on when it comes to the cons, but that is definitely a big plus, a big bonus when it comes to launching with pre-orders. Now let's touch on some of the cons of the pre-order launch strategy. Now, one of the biggest cons, and the reason why I am not 100% keen of launching with pre-orders, is the long delivery time. Typically, a pre-order will have a lengthy delivery time from the point of which that customer has ordered their garment to the point of which you're actually able to ship it. It also depends on what sort of strategy you've gone for, whether you're only going to order once you've finished your whole pre-launch campaign. That means that however long it takes for you to produce that particular garment is how long that customer is going to be waiting for that particular garment. So that is definitely a major con. And having said that, con number 2, because you're ordering after the point of which you finished your pre-order campaign, the chances of production delays can occur. So you might say to your customer, okay, you're going to receive your garments within 3 to 4 weeks, and then you have an issue when it comes to production, and now your customer is waiting even longer, and now you have to explain yourself. So it's really important that you have a lean operation operations system and a robust production line that you are able to guarantee that your customers are going to get their products on time. Con number 3, it's all about managing customer expectations. Even though you might have told your customer that, okay, you're going to receive your products in 3 to 4 weeks, still you are going to have a group of customers that are going to be messaging you all the time like, when am I going to get this, when am I going to get this, despite the fact that you've already told them. I feel like I'm having this issue on Vinted. They said post the item today please, and now they're sending me question marks, and it's just like, maintaining that relationship with your customer and being positive about it can be really, really tough, and managing their expectations, which is definitely a con that comes with this pre-order launch strategy. So you have to be really, really clear with like delivery expectations and all of that sort of stuff in order to limit customers getting frustrated when it comes to expecting their purchased garment. Now the final con, which is probably one of the biggest cons, is customer cancellations. Customers definitely have the right to cancel their order, and I feel like they're more likely to cancel their order, especially when it's during that pre-order sort of like season, because they might think, you know what, actually I don't need this anymore, because they've had a little bit more time to think, which obviously leads to financial constraints, especially if you've already started using that money, that cash flow boost. This can be a really big major con when it comes to using pre-order launch strategy. So those are my pros and my cons for using pre-orders as a way to launch your clothing brand. I really, really hope that you have picked up a thing or two. All in all, in conclusion, I don't think it's a bad thing. Just make sure that your wait times from like the point of which people order to the point of which they receive their garments isn't too long. In fact, what I would say is actually have the products in production already, I would say, so that customers are not waiting too long. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will certainly catch you in my very next video. Bye.